Alright, so to get this set up on your computer, you get your USB cable that you got, get it plugged in. Now my drivers are already installed, so you can see it pop up here, but if you don't have the drivers, the NTEX site that I had in my link for purchasing, they have the drivers right here on the side. Downloads fast, and you're on your way. So once you got the drivers installed for this, and you can see it on your list, I can see mine here, the USB serial port. Then you're going to open up your Rama sequence editor, and I did this before. You're going to do Edit, Preferences, Network Preferences, and under the DMX section here, you just hit the drop down, and you'll see, hopefully see the device on the list. Then you are all set. So the general setup is your USB is bringing your data, which I'm basically going to bring into my board, and then my power supply over here, I'm using a computer power supply, is also going to come through the same cable, and it's going to supply the power. So I got just one cable, but I got data and power. And then down here you have all of the RGB channels that you can control. So I got the little cable screwed in. You can kind of see why these are nice and easy. And then it'll plug right into my light strip. So it should just be that easy. Looking at the board again, we have data going in the back. This is where our power comes in. It shows here you're going to put your positive on the left side and your negative on the right. I'm using just a standard computer power supply with this one. So my positive there is going to correspond to a yellow, and my negative is going to be black. If you do use one of these 5-pin to 3-pin cables and cut it and split it up like I did, what you'll have is you'll have a red and a black that comes out. And so all you need to know is you're going to take this black wire, and through your whole wiring setup, you want the black wire to be connected to this first one here on the left. Alright, that means the red goes in the middle. So if you just get that, you'll be good to go to set that up. Now once you got everything set up and you want to run, it's really important that you know this. You have to run the control panel. Otherwise you will not connect with the DMX. So you start this. I'm just going to get that started, and then on the software here, this set is just set up to number 1, channel 1 on my DMX universe, and I do have it set up in a loop. So we'll play it and show you how it works when I get it connected. Alright, so now that I got my loop connected, let me show you how this works. So I'm going to get the power plugged in. Alright, and once I did that, the red light here will turn on, indicating you got power. And then you got to have the data coming in. So I got my 5-pin. Now that I got that connected, now the light's blinking, so that's good. If your light's blinking, you got data. If it's just red, you got power. So now I got both. And lastly, now that it's running, should just be able to plug it in, and we are in action. Alright, so on these controller boards, the dip switch tells the computer which channels to run on this. So whatever we set here, that's going to be the first channel in my line. So right now it's set for channel 1, so it means I'm going from 1, 2, 3, so I go 1 through 27. So since I'm using a bunch of these boards, what I'm going to do is this board will be set to 1. My next board I want to be set to 28. So this will go 1 through 27. My next will do 28 through 54, and then the next one will be 55. And so you set it up that way. And the way that you do it is you see a value down here that corresponds to each switch. So if I switch on 1 and 2, I'd be having a 2 and a 1, so I got 3, and that would start at 3. So if I do the first 3, I get 4, 2 here, I get 7. So anyway, if I want to run at 55 for my third board, I basically just need to switch these on to sum to 55, and the easiest way is to start with the biggest number you can. So you would do 32, and then if you could do 16, you do 16, and you get 48, and so you just go on from there. My preferred method is to put my controller boxes
on site where I have my props or my special effects. So that way I use the least amount of cables. But if it's not waterproof, you're going to run into issues. So this is picked up from Home Depot. It's got a lid. It's pretty much watertight. And just happens that it perfectly fits in here. In fact, it fits in such a way that it doesn't even move. It, if you kind of push it down, this thing's in there good. And in fact, it's just such that you can put 2 in here if you wire it up nicely, and you can actually get a lot of channels off of such a small box. So what I'll do is, and I'll show you another one. I set it here. I kind of line up where each of these cables would come through if I plugged them in. And so I'll have markings and I'll drill holes all the way down. And then I'll put these connectors through each of the holes. So it just has a bunch of connectors coming out. And then I put another one that runs the power and data here. This way you can seal it up, bring this to where you're going to have your lights. You just need a single cable, brings data and power, and then you can plug in all of your stuff without needing a lot of lights.